A company in Southampton is working towards fitting hybrid engines to water taxis in Venice. But the ambitious project will only become a reality if they raise enough money through a crowdfunding campaign. Our reporter Richard Ensten has more.
Reap Systems are experts when it comes to hybrid and electric powered vehicles. They've worked across a wide range of projects, and now they've turned their attention to water taxis in Venice.
We talked to a contact who has got an island in Venice, who's very enthusiastic about the idea of making the boats cleaner and greener. And that's when we started looking into the Venice market. And what we want to create is basically a system that any boat builder can put into a boat when they build a boat. It's like putting in a normal diesel engine, it's just that it's a hybrid system, which can have lots of benefits depending on how the boat is used, up to 50% fuel, less fuel consumption, for example.
In certain situations, a hybrid system doesn't really have much benefit, but for boats in a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's ideal.
In Venice, this technology makes a lot of sense because you have some fast runs to the airport, so you still need the power and the of a normal diesel engine. But when the taxis then go around the little canals in Venice, this is where you want them to be quiet, non-polluting, no noise, no diesel emissions, and no vibration, which is potentially damaging the buildings, through erosion. So we can get rid of all these problems in the little canals, but still have the full performance when going to the airport. And when the taxi is going to the airport, we recharge then the batteries, and then the batteries can be used to run full electric around the canals.
The project is an exciting one, but it may not even get off the drawing board if they don't secure enough funding. That's why Reap Systems are appealing for members of the public to help them out.
The project costs us at least $250,000. I don't know what that is in pounds. We know it in dollar because it's how crowdfunding works. At the moment, our target we want to put out on crowdfunding is $100,000 because, of course, we got to hit the target. Otherwise, we wouldn't be getting anything. But that would mean we would still have to put in $150,000 ourselves. So ideally, we are overshooting that target. But we got to see how it goes.
Dennis believes that if something can be made better and be made greener, then it should be. But this mentality needs to be from the bottom up, rather than enforced from the top down.
I think we should do it voluntarily and enjoy that journey, and say let's take the sustainability on as our challenge. There's nothing wrong with tackling challenges and trying to do it. The issue with governments, this also happened in the electric vehicle fields. They were in California. They were putting out the Californian Air Resource Board was putting out regulations regulating the emissions of cars, which was achievable. But I think most car manufacturers lobbied them and said this isn't possible, and they even sued them, and they even won that case. So the governments can only put regulations in place which they can prove is something that is achievable. So by putting out a hybrid taxi boat, we can basically show what's possible, and then the local government can put that regulation in place.
Looking forward, the hopes are that water taxis in Venice will show the whole world the benefits of hybrid-powered boats.
What is supposed to happen is that we will test the boat here in Southampton in July, and then also arrange a few trips to show people that technology, so to demonstrate a little bit and test it at the same time. Once we are confident with the technology, we'll take it to Venice, to our contact in Venice, who is going to demonstrate it in Venice to the local authorities, so that eventually they can bring that regulation in, demonstrate to taxi drivers. So we will get a lot of feedback from taxi drivers, from the users, and the boat will be used a lot. So in Venice, these boats are used 20 hours a day, every day, by the taxi boat drivers. It gives it a lot of, usage. So we believe if the technology can survive that usage, if we can demonstrate it is that reliable, then the uptake in other markets will also start happening.
Richard Ensten for That Solent.